What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and I'll just be honest, I'm annoyed that I'm making this video. I mean, the fact that this topic just keeps getting spread, it a little bit drives me nuts, but I just want to try and clear up the fake news of Nintendo that just keeps getting spread and spread and spread. So this weekend, if you went on the internet, you probably saw people claiming the fact that Nintendo Directs might be dead. This could be the death of Nintendo itself. Maybe they have all their games being cancelled or pushed to next year. Maybe 2020 is the worst year ever for Nintendo. Even just smaller creators are just talking about the fact that there are no Nintendo Directs in 2020. 2020 is cursed. And to me, this is kind of driving me nuts because even on the surface, this is so blatantly false. I mean, it's so clearly wrong. Now let's just clear up a misconception. A lot of people think that Nintendo Directs are done for entertainment, Nintendo Directs are done for the fans. That's just not true. Nintendo does the Directs because they are a huge financial source of income. I mean, they are such a dedicated way to show off commercials, expose people to games they may not know about. The point of Nintendo Directs is absolutely to reveal games that they want you to buy. That's obvious, right? But think about a more unconventional project. Let's look at something like Doom. Now, Doom 2016, obviously a fantastic game, people love it, but when they first were talking about that coming to Nintendo Switch, there was a little bit of skepticism and a tiny bit of pushback because most Nintendo gamers, for the most part, they're not hardcore shooters. They're people who like cool RPGs and action adventures and racing stuff. But when I think about my Nintendo Switch or my little Nintendo Switch Joy-Con controllers, I'm definitely not thinking about Call of Duty. I'm definitely not thinking about even playing Fortnite on this thing anymore. I'm thinking about playing big, fun, cool stuff like Octopath, right? I mean, that's pretty obvious. But shockingly, that kind of changed the day they revealed Doom for Nintendo Switch. I mean, this game is a very hardcore, very fast-paced shooter that requires reaction time, tactical movement, and blasting as many demons in the goriest way possible. And Nintendo fans loved it. I mean, Nintendo fans took to this like wildfire. And I think a big reason for that is because of the Nintendo Direct reveal. They managed to bait them in and say, come around, Nintendo fans, let's get in the circle and sing Kumbaya and see the newest cool adventures. And then bam, they slap them in the face and show them a great adventure that otherwise they may have overlooked. This isn't just some speculation either. There's actually interviews and data showing the fact that a lot of indie games sell exponentially better on the Nintendo Switch, and it's thought that the main reason why is the Directs. The fact that Nintendo is able to laser beam focus their audience on projects that very likely would have gone under the radar or not sold as well. Nintendo Directs serve a purpose. They are a financial boon for Nintendo themselves. They want to bring them back. But they just keep quoting this article. Now let me just make this clear. I'm going to show you where this rumor comes from and why people keep spreading it, but I'm not attacking any games journalists. I'm not telling anybody that they suck. I just want to try and break down why this is false. It is definitely incorrect. Now, Nintendo Everything is where I'm quoting right now, and they're just kind of repeating this article because I don't want to give VentureBeat a click. A couple weeks ago, a report from VentureBeat claimed that Nintendo will be skipping its expected Nintendo Direct in June. This has been an annual tradition for the company to announce new games, but due to the virus, the company's near-term plans have been affected. VentureBeat now says that in addition to the report today, that Nintendo isn't planning a Direct at all for now. The site also reiterated that development partners have been told not to wait for such a presentation to happen, even if they have a big announcement. Which right there, just pausing for a second, that's basically them saying, don't wait for us. If you have a great game that you want to show off, drop it on Twitter, drop it on YouTube, drop it on Reddit. Get people stoked, the fire's going, get people ready to sell your game because we're not going to sell it for you. In this article, they even talk about how Nintendo themselves is showing how it's done with this. Nintendo chose to unveil Paper Mario the Origami King without prior warning last week. This type of move is atypical to the company as it generally tends to announce bigger games in Nintendo Direct broadcasts. Directs aren't dead. They have taken a different approach though, which is the fact that Nintendo realizes that, well, let's just say this, there is a different style of marketing that right now needs to take place. Nintendo Directs are actually a pretty big sense of production to it. I've heard that there's like a specific department inside of Nintendo that's just in charge of Directs. They're the people who try and package together the coolest clips of trailers, the best voiceover, and of course, they come together a lot of times to film skits, to edit it, to try and make sure that it's a smooth presentation of the games. Right now, you just can't do that. I don't know where you live, but lockdowns are still pretty pervasive, but what's going on in Japan, it's pretty bad as well. Japan falls into recession and worse lies ahead. Despite the success in fighting the virus, the world's third largest economy will struggle for months as it tries to reopen businesses. Now this is like a Consumer Reports thing, it's kind of more about the businesses and the economics, but it still conveys the very important lesson that Nintendo is stuck. Nintendo wants to do directs, and the thing is that they just can't do it, and so they're having to play it safe. One of the things I did is I decided to reach out to some of the people I know who are insiders and honestly much smarter than myself, and I kind of just asked them, what's really going on? Why aren't we getting teases? Why aren't we getting something? I mean, maybe if we don't get a full-blown direct, why is Nintendo so silent? Are they trying to just push every project to 2021? And what they told me is this: Nintendo has games. Nintendo has things that they want to show. They're ready to try and get things going. But without a proper direct, they're afraid of dropping the biggest news in just a little tiny Twitter tweet. They don't want to try and just drop a huge giant reveal in a way that won't give the epic internet-breaking splash that it definitely deserves. There is also a lot of conversation about the fact that Nintendo is very likely being slowed in development. And this is a big deal because Nintendo, more than anybody, they're super into the idea of trying to show games only when they're fully ready. I mean, I actually really respect that about them. Normally, when they show you a trailer for a game, it's already being played in a studio. They don't do like so many games these days, and I know a lot of us hate on it. They show you like such an early slice of the game and then be like, oh, you're going to play it in 4 years. That drives me nuts. Show me the game when it's about to come out. Well, Nintendo are kind of the kings of that. They're the people that are the best at being like, all right, the project is ready now. That's cool to me. I like all the shadow drops, I like all the big reveals, and I like the fact that Nintendo understands timelines. So let's just kind of speculate here. What if they're having the troubles of their games are being slowed down because of this virus, the fact that they're all working from home, and there has been talk about the fact that work from home culture in Japan is different. It's much more slowed down even than other countries. They're having a lot of trouble trying to get people to work at the same capacity from like a laptop at their own house. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense when you consider the fact that this is game development. It's one of the most demanding technological things in the world. It's art made by supercomputers and geniuses. I mean, the thing is that this is a very complicated thing. Let me just throw out a hypothetical. What if there is theoretically a Metroid Prime trilogy? What if there really is this game? That'd be great, but let's face it, that's going to require a lot of polish, it's going to require a lot of bug testing. How are they going to do that from a work-from-home setting? Are they just going to email the entire code? Are they going to be trying to physically mail tester computers to people to try out builds of the game? This is something that's going to dramatically slow it down. They're not able to just have dedicated rooms inside the offices to test the game, to play with it, to try and bug test it. This is going to slow stuff down, and I think that more than anything, Nintendo is so obsessed with quality control, making sure that their games are as good as possible the second they come out. And so if these games are being slowed down in development, they probably don't want to even talk about it because they know themselves it might not come till winter, it might not come till summer. I mean, who knows? It just seems like right now it's pretty safe to say that with the unpredictableness of business, Nintendo would rather err on the side of caution. They would rather not do a direct instead of accidentally telling you a wrong release date, showing you a wrong trailer, or just getting something that's incorrect when the game comes out. So I understand the lack of directs for now, but as things clear up, I absolutely believe the second that they get back to work, the second their country starts being able to reopen, we're going to see a direct. Directs are coming back. This is not the demise of Nintendo themselves. They still have big plans for 2020, they still have stuff that they're going to be showing off, and they still have reasons that you and I should be hyped. but I guess we're going to see soon. This is just my own interpretation of the data and talking to my own personal sources. What do you think? Do you really truly believe that this is the Nintendo apocalypse, or do you not even care? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. It took me like an hour and a half to film this super short video because I kept having lawnmowers, sirens, cars, kids screaming, dogs barking. Oh my gosh. Everybody stop screaming in Texas, please, just for a second. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.